Welcome to Get in the Ring with DJ D Kooks and Beast Mike on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Welcome to Get in the Ring on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. I am your host, DJ D Kooks. I'm done it old school here.
Yes, I am Beast Mike. I guess I am this week calling from suburban Philadelphia, because I'm going to be back in DC tomorrow. But yes, it is a very nice night here. Spring is finally kind of coming into play. The Flyers winning earlier tonight really made things really nice, but we got some wrestling to get to. There was some chippiness and some fighting in that game too. But there was some chippiness, obviously, in the ring. So where shall we begin?
What's your WrestleMania weekend show name? Well, that's where we'll begin.
Okay.
So I sent Beast Mike this in the Skype chat because everybody has an Irony WrestleMania show now.
Uh-huh.
And we might as well create our own. So, Beast Mike?
Where is
It's at the bottom.
I'm not
the
seeing
10:02 p.m.
No, it says call. Yeah, that's not saying that's not here.
Oh, I'll send it to you via Facebook.
Yeah, that's not here. But what is your name?
My show name. Let me send it to you via Twitter because this is riveting.
First off, where did this even come from? Where does this even originate from?
So you know how Joey Janela's spring break happened.
Yes.
You know how everybody started to copy all the Joey Janela spring break.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have Effie's Big Gay Brunch, and some of the shows this year are ridiculous.
Okay.
You have the BDSM show. You have the Big Gay Brunch. You have Joey Ryan's penis party.
Mm-hmm.
I just sent it to you via Twitter. So,
okay. Let's see. So it is your name, which in my case is Strong Style, and then last initial.
So you have to say your full name.
Okay.
And then your name correlates with. You have to say Michael A's.
Okay.
And then whatever correlates with your first name, D. So M A.
Okay, so
and then your birth month.
Okay.
Whatever correlates with your birth month.
Ah. Okay, I see how this goes. So let's see. So mine is Michael A's Strong Style. Let's see. And my last name is A. So Strong Style, all-inclusive shit show. That is wild. That is wild. Wow, that is wild. All right, and yours is
Danny K's Walmart. Of course, it's Walmart.
you got Stan Kroenke on it. You got Stan Kroenke on the case.
Walmart.
All right.
Big sexy.
And I think your birthday is March,
Jamboree.
right? Jamboree.
So you have the strong style.
All inclusive. That is wild.
At least it's all inclusive.
It's all everybody's invited, I guess. I guess it's equal opportunity, I suppose.
It's a shit show, at least.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's there's a lot to this. Okay, so your name, last initial, birth month. I see how this goes now. That's creative. All right, it'll work.
Because your WrestleMania weekend show name. This is the most creative thing that could come out of this.
As ironically, this Sunday is the final pay-per-view before WrestleMania for the main
I
roster.
totally forgot that Elimination Chamber is happening this
Ironically,
Sunday.
it's at the Wells Fargo Center, home of the currently hottest team in the Eastern Conference, the Philadelphia Flyers. The Philly's going to host the Elimination Chamber.
I'm going to get my birthday money this Saturday, so I can swing by getting tickets real cheap.
Yeah, tickets will probably still be pretty dirt cheap. We're actually going to look to StubHub right now to look at said prices of tickets for. I know they've been selling them for as low as $25, but let's see, Elimination Chamber. All right, so Elimination Chamber right now.
Let me see SeatGeek.
Is he looking on SeatGeek? I'm looking at StubHub, and
because I have a referral code on SeatGeek.
Yeah.
Get me $20 off, so I can pay $5 instead of the. So our friend urinating tree.
Well, there are several people who have them actually. There are several people who have those codes. You can get $20 off your first purchase. So the cheapest ticket in the building.
Urinating tree because. Or 5 points.
Or 5 points or draft Nick Mar. There's a lot of them honestly. So including the fees on StubHub. Cheapest ticket in the building is $53, which is not
$46. I thought it would be a lot cheaper.
Now is that with the code or without them?
That's before the code.
Before the code. All right. So on StubHub, the cheapest ticket here, that's with fees, $68.09. That's not terrible. $68.09.
$60 with before fees.
Oh, that's all right. So it's not that big a difference. Okay.
With fees. $83.
Oh, yikes. So StubHub is actually much cheaper. So StubHub is much. So where is your ticket? Because this one's in 223.
216.
216. So that's not too far away. By comparison,
they're sorting it by best deal.
I have it by lowest value, lowest price.
So 65.
Okay, that's not too bad. Obviously, the key is to get a view where you can actually see kind of the whole stage plus the chamber itself, and that's the views. Some of them are. This one's not bad. 210's not bad. 210's a good seat. 209's a pretty good seat.
223.
Yeah, 223 is kind of like you got an obstructed
view.
That's an obstructed view. You don't want that. Like you'd want to see like 209 is fine, 210 is fine, 214 is fine because that's like on the TV side of the building, but you can see everything. 210 is cool.
You could probably still get in the building.
Sure. No. You can tickets at the door are $25, and you'll probably end up paying like 30 something. At the door.
And you could still,
Yeah. So you still see everything, so it's perfectly fine. So
my brothers went to the Battleground pay-per-view where they had the Punjabi Prison match.
Which basically the Battleground pay-per-view after the New Day vs. Usos match, the pay-per-view fell flat on his face and did not get up.
No.
Basically, it was Xavier Woods getting the part where Woodsy got super kicked. The difference is the pay-per-view did not get up, unlike Woodsy who totally got up.
This pay-per-view has that potential. I'm just saying.
The tag team chamber could be good. The women's chamber I don't really have much faith in. Alistair versus AJ running it back, I think that'll be a fine match. And then everything, the Street Profits versus Buddy and Seth, they're gonna run it back. That's fine. But yeah, I think the tag chamber is going to be good, and I think what closes the show? Because you don't have a world title, neither world title is at stake. So what closes
the problem here?
What closes the show? What's
the women?
You close with the. That could be a train wreck. I don't think I like that women's chamber. I don't like the women's chamber really to start with.
Because you set up Shayna Becky.
Because you tipped your hand. When Shayna bit Becky, you tipped your hand. That's the type of thing you have Shayna do after Elimination Chamber, not before. Because I think you tipped your hand. You really don't. You have no hook with Charlotte and Rhea. You have no hook with Brock and Drew. You have no hook. Even though I love their segment on Raw. I love how that went. You have no hook.
Let's talk about SmackDown because Goldberg's like great. Goldberg.
I love that Goldberg got booed. I love that Goldberg got booed, and pretty much everyone took took my side in this and thinking that Bray losing the title was a horrible idea. I love that Goldberg.
I thought it was a good idea.
I know you did. We'll get to Bray later, but Goldberg got booed heavy, and then Lisa Roman.
The way they set up the Cena match was shit, utter shit. Too.
Yeah, to kind of make Cena sympathetic, and then Bray, and we'll get to that at the end. But I think that could have been.
This company sets up matches now. It's just utter shit.
Yeah, they did not set.
I just throw up my hands now and I say, I give up.
I would rather just have Bray attack.
I'm more invested in AEW anyway, so.
I know you are. Personally, I would rather just have Cena, Bray attack Cena. To tell the truth,
It's a parody of wrestling at this point.
I'd rather just have Bray attack Cena. I wish they would have just gone that route, and then Cena be out for revenge the following week. But Bray needs to beat Cena. Let's get that out the way out the gate. Bray needs to beat Cena.
No.
Yeah, he does. He needs
to. No. They need to kill this Fiend thing. Dead. It needs to be dead. Bray Wyatt needs to be dead.
He said Bray Wyatt needs to be dead. I completely disagree. I think they need to unbury. They need to undo the damage they did at WrestleMania 30. I completely disagree here. But
John Cena should be wrestling Elias. That's my fucking thing.
The problem
is that Elias got screwed out of that match.
That's true. That should have happened last year. 100%. I agree. Elias
John Cena got screwed out of that match, and I'm pissed. So
back years, Cena should have probably fought Elias. I will buy that.
So,
but those are those two pay-per-views. Those are those two WrestleManias. No, Elias should have got a profile match. He should have got a high-profile match at WrestleMania 34 or 35. Either one against Cena would have been fine. I get it. You have Cena fight Taker. Kind of get squashed by Taker. Okay, I get it. But at least last year, he probably should have fought Elias. Okay, so the Goldberg-Reigns match was pretty obviously set up.
And then Reigns like he's next. They didn't even do a men's chamber. I'm laughing my ass off.
It was super cheesy.
Bye. I don't even want to review this show.
It was super cheesy. It was incredibly cheesy.
The show was cheesy as fuck.
It was super cheesy.
This whole show is just cheesy as fuck. They're doing a 3-on-1 handicap match for a singles belt. I'm like
for against Strowman.
They're gonna have 3 geeks running around with the Intercontinental Championship. You know this. 3 years ago, when Shinsuke signed, you would have thought Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn, Cesaro in the stable would have been like 3 ass kickers, not 3 bumbling geeks. You can't find anything else for Sami Zayn besides.
That's a problem. I agree. That's a problem.
That's a fucking crime.
That's a huge problem. With,
I'm trying not to get ramped up because I don't want to wake up my But
no, that part that's a problem.
But
the fact that Sammy
crime.
The fact that Sammy
I'm
isn't
sorry.
treated, they disrespected Sammy
crime.
hard. They're disrespecting Sami Zayn hard.
Sami Zayn's one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And there's another one who I would consider in that peer group that's getting disrespected, but we'll get to that on Raw.
Cesaro.
Well, no, I was referring to Ricochet, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Oh, we'll get to that. Oh, I'm gonna bury that shit hard because you have to lose a Riddick fucking Moss. Let's get to that right fucking now.
Because really, the main things you saw
on fucking Raw. Fuck that shit.
The disrespect.
What the fuck are you doing?
The disrespect.
Ricochet win the fucking Universal title from Brock. What the fuck?
We knew that wasn't going to happen. We knew.
The fucking Riddick Moss on Raw. What are you doing? He was fucking doing well in New Japan. Fucking going flippy doos with Will Ospreay. He didn't need WWE. He didn't need this shit.
Nope.
So
he was killing it in NXT too. He was NXT. He was killing it. Having great matches with Velveteen Dream and Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole. He was killing it in NXT.
He doesn't need this company. I was trying to make the point of he didn't need this company. So the fact that he came here was a blessing for them. He was doing well in the Indies.
Mm-hmm.
Making money.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out
with classics. Yeah.
Coming out with classics. He would be killing it in the heavyweight division in New Japan right now.
Yeah, he would be.
Because he's marketable. He would be great with Will Ospreay and Shingo and Zack Sabre Jr. Are you fucking kidding me? In New Japan right now? And you have Ricochet losing to Riddick fucking Moss?
Riddick Moss.
Fucking Moss.
No, this was so bad.
Ricochet's ass. When it comes to
Riddick Moss is nowhere near the peer group of Ricochet, and you got Ricochet losing to him in a.
We're breaking the explicit barrier.
No, we knew that was coming. It's so. That's just so bad. It's just so.
It just
so bad.
The show so badly when you had a good match with the Street Profits and Seth Rollins and Murphy, which was very good. I'm glad
the Street Profits won the titles too. I wish it would have happened.
The Brock segment was okay.
I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with it. I thought they did that part.
You had a shitty ass segment with the club and the AJ Styles announced.
Yeah.
That was utter shit. The Riot Squad segment was utter shit.
I wish they would have cut the
middle section of this show. They don't have 3 hours to fucking fill.
No, they don't. It's a 2-hour show that they
3 hours to fucking fill. And this is my problem with this show every fucking week. I can't watch this show. I refuse to watch this show.
This is a 2-hour. It was a 2-hour show that they had 3 hours of time to fill. I think this was not a good look.
My blood. The Rey Mysterio Humberto Carrillo versus Andrade and Angel Garza match was fucking fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had 4 segments that were good. The middle section of the show was absolute dog shit. Eric Rowan revealing his fucking spider. Are you fucking kidding me? Even though it got my boy Wrecking Ball Legursky on TV as one of No Way Jose's geeks.
Okay.
As an extra, got him a payday.
Nice.
Good
luck.
I know that stuff gets people paid and whatnot, but I can't feel sympathetic to that shit. I'm sorry. That's our Raw review this week. I want to get to AEW because
the only other thing that you did not cover was Randy Orton's Fire segment with Beth Phoenix, and that absolutely was an excellent segment.
Randy Orton's promo is not like the greatest promo of all time.
No,
but it was a better promo than Orton tonight.
But Randy did an excellent promo. Did an excellent segment with Beth Phoenix. He's clearly back in his 09 heel bag. And we knew the RKO was coming to Beth. It was just a matter of time. And
everybody was so shocked.
I think
everybody sees it on indie fucking wrestling every week with intergender wrestling. So shut your fucking faces with your awe and shock that WWE did a.
Somebody clipped together all the women that Orton's RKO'd in the past. You knew this was. He's been RKO women for 15 years off and on. You knew this was coming. Come on, people. Stop playing with us. You knew an RKO with Beth Phoenix was coming as soon as they put Beth on the marquee. That was a layup. It's just a matter of how fast.
Chris Jericho knocked out Shawn Michaels' wife for real. Remember that?
Yeah, when Jericho popped her in the face. When Jericho punched her in the face.
When Jericho actually cold cocked her.
Yeah, actually legitimately punched her in the face. SummerSlam 08. He was absolutely going for Shawn, but Shawn ducked and then Rebecca got clapped right in the face. Legitimately got punched in the face. Yeah. He didn't mean to do it. He absolutely meant to hit Shawn, but Shawn ducked. Shawn's timing was just got the better. Was unfortunately used improperly there.
Let's just wrap up with this.
That was GG.
Do I even want to go to this show? Do I want to take my money for AEW tickets in April?
To keep it a buck, the only matches I'm super excited for on this Chamber pay-per-view are the Tag Elimination Chamber, because I think that's going to have a lot of spots.
AEW's coming in April.
And Alistair AJ. To keep it a buck, those
coming in April, and
AEW in April is going to be fire. I'm not even going to
the 22nd, and I know that will be fire.
Mm-hmm. I'm not here to dispute that. AEW in April is going to be fire. But I'm saying like the only two matches. See, here's the problem. There's no world titles. There's no world title stuff. There's no Charlotte Rhea Bianca. There's barely going to be Becky, unless Becky jumps Shayna after the Chamber match. There's no Becky. Like you really don't have any hooks here. You really don't have many hooks in this pay-per-view. Like it seems like a filler pay-per-view. That seems like the true definition of a filler pay-per-view with a couple of Chamber matches that'll bring a bunch of spots in.
I would rather.
So I hope this does well. I want this to do well. I just don't have doubt. I just don't have any feeling that it will do well. Is what I'm saying about this Chamber pay-per-view coming up.
Yeah.
They got 5 weeks to make it hot for WrestleMania. Good luck, boys. You're going to need it. That's not including NXT, because NXT is going to be fine on its own. But the main Raw and SmackDown, you got 5 weeks to make it hot. All right, so you want to do AEW before NXT, or which do you want to do first?
We didn't even watch NXT, so we're going to Revolution.
This is true. All right, so let's kick it to AEW.
Let's go to NXT first, because give the quick results, because our listeners at least deserve that.
This is true. So NXT.
You look up the results, because
I got it. So to start the show, this was a dual cage match theme of NXT, where the ladies have one and then the men have one. First, yeah, the ladies, Tegan versus Dakota, kind of running it back from TakeOver Portland, and started off with this cage. The crowd was digging it with both women here. The pace kind of slowed down a little bit with New Zealand native. Basically Dakota took control and started to beat up Tegan. And before Tegan came back, and then Kai kind of tried to build the momentum, whipping her into the cage. When the match returned from the break, the tide turned again.
Kai won.
Yeah, this was
ultimately
it was Dakota.
Saying the results. Chelsea Green won.
Because Gonzalez saved the day for Dakota. Chelsea Green won her match.
NXT is just not an interesting show to me. You know, it's just not an interesting show to me. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, and I get
so bland in front of this audience.
You think part of this
AEW feels so fresh, so new.
You think that's part of the reason why you're so into AEW and so out on WWE, because AEW is just so new, it's a new perspective? I think that's part of the reason why of your optimism of AEW is because it's just so new and fresh, and it's a different perspective on wrestling, as opposed to the same things that you've kind of been exposed to with WWE over the years.
And it's also booked by different people.
Yes, it's different mindsets. Who think differently from really Vince, but who think differently from Vince and Triple H. I get
also, that. It's just tiring to think they're going to change, and then they don't change. When you've seen AEW change on a consistent basis.
AEW does adapt. AEW has so far done a significantly better job of adapting.
They got rid of ideas. Yeah. They have gotten rid of ideas.
I.e. that women's crew that everyone hated.
Nightmare
Collective. Obviously, Dark Order's still in play, but it's nowhere near as much as it used to be. But yes,
Dark Order's not even a nuisance anymore.
No, it's not. Because they're not shoving it down your throat.
I don't like them as much as I used to.
They're not shoving it down your throat either. So I think that's part of it.
It's not shoved down our throat. It's like a mid-card act.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like the main event act that we thought it would be.
Right. Look, I didn't know that bread is butter with everything MJF is doing, everything Inner Circle's doing, and then Moxley, and then Cody. You have your four main pieces, and then now Pac is gonna join the Pac and Orange Cassidy at 5 and 6. Now you have 6 main pieces here, and then Omega and the Bucks. So now you have even more main pieces. They're giving you all that kind of stuff.
I'm also concerned that if they got a Japan affiliate, it's gonna be more of the same shit.
What D. Cooks is referring to is Japan's higher up, small Japan, are going to make a trip to the Performance Center in Orlando in May to talk to WWE officials and potentially do a merger, All Japan and WWE, which could streamline the way to NXT Japan. Now, there are probably some players involved here that would be very beneficial on the All Japan side. That would be really good for the exposure. But
we're not the people to talk about it because we're as in depth on All Japan Pro Wrestling. But Drew Nakayama's going to do it as guest coach, and I'm just like,
if it's in Triple H's hands, I think it can work. If it's in Vince's hands, I think it's a problem.
Because I don't trust Triple H.
Okay.
Because NXT, it's the same primary colors. It's the same shaky camera shots. It's the same.
You think NXT can stand to not be in Full Sail every week? I do. I think
no, NXT... it wouldn't even change if it wasn't at Full Sail. Maybe the energy level would change.
I think that's part of it. NXT feeds off energy. I think their crowd NXT shows seem to feed off the energy of the audience. I think it would really benefit if it weren't.
AEW feeds off their crowd so much. I'm just gonna say this right now. I just think NXT's not interesting. I just think my disinterest in it is just because they don't cycle out like they used to. No one graduates. No one leaves.
That point is true. It has been. They haven't had the signature call-ups since when? What, last WrestleMania?
And they don't cycle in like the Largo Loop talent like they should. They don't. Like WWE doesn't even do this with the main roster.
But I think part of that's because NXT has become a third brand.
Yes.
I think that's part of it.
And this is where my philosophy lies, and this is where AEW's philosophy lies, is they can take a break. Joe Janela can be off TV for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They can take Jericho off TV for 1 week. They can take Kenny Omega off TV for 1 week.
You have enough people to supplement that and counter that.
Right. I thought Jericho would be off TV this week.
I did too. I thought Jericho would come. I would have thought Jericho would have came back swinging the next week and came back swinging and let Moxley have a celebration.
Cody off TV. You know.
Mm-hmm. I get you.
They've cycled in and out. They've taken Moxley off TV. They've taken Pac off TV. They've taken Nyla Rose off TV for a period of time.
I think part of this. Good.
It's not like they have to shoehorn everybody on the show, and
I think part of what NXT had to do
burnout.
that is because
It's burnout.
they do have to get ready for the takeover, and to make sure everyone's got as much time, exposure, and build up as humanly possible for takeover.
And they have
which
to
is why, like, for example,
time.
this week, the only thing they did was have Ballard cut a promo or cut a video. Like, Ballard wasn't on like in the ring or anything with takeover or with NXT this week. I expect them to be there next week after Walter and Mastiff.
Then they have to give everybody time, which stretches out the show for 3 hours, and I hate that. Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara was 5 minutes of total match time.
Was basically a speed run.
Which basically was a speed run. Some matches don't need to be 30-minute epic, and the NXT takeover style has worn out on me. Which is another point that Voices of Wrestling has made so eloquently.
I disagree. I think that's the point of it.
I agree with their style. The takeover style has worn out on me. The epic like stage production of this has to be an epic struggle. Like 1, 2, kick out. 1, 2, kick out. Every fucking match. Like, every fucking match. Like, it doesn't need to be that. I just want a simple wrestle match. Sometimes. And we look at NXT TakeOver Portland. For instance, you had fucking...
Lee Dijakovic had to be that. Because their previous matches... That had to be.
But it was the opening match. It was an epic.
Dakota
Kai get knocked. You had like Dakota Kai fucking Deacon Knox take off the knee brace, and it was fucking it had to be this epic thing, and it was only 13 minutes, but it felt like 20. You had Finn Balor, Johnny Gargano, and all Johnny Gargano matches are melodramatic. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, even though it was 13 minutes, felt like 20.
Not to me. I thought
that felt like 20 minutes. Oh God.
I'll give you Gargano Balor. Because I thought that match did drag for
the only match that didn't drag for me was the tag. And then Cole Ciampa. Oh God.
I think that one had to last a while too, because
that was a fucking circle jerk. It's too masturbatory for me.
Obviously, we're covering this from two different views. It's pretty obvious. Like I get why they had to have that story, the way they did.
It's too masturbatory for me, and I get you have to be masturbatory in some senses. Like in the War Games matches, you have to be masturbatory.
You have to let the story play out.
But there's times where you can have short matches. Like the Finn Balor Matt Riddle match was perfect for that. When you look at the Toronto match, the Cole Gargano, 2 out of 3 falls, 46 minutes.
Obviously, setting up for the big finish of that rivalry. So I get why they did that. I think the first fall was a little too long. I think the first fall was too long. And I think they did that a bit too long. I agree on the first fall. I thought the second fall was fine. I thought the third fall was fine. But I think the first fall
some of these was NXT TakeOver matches, especially like not the tag matches, but the singles match. The recent singles matches have been bleeding in. The main event style have bled in to the women's and into the and it's turned me off. It was during this Portland show where I'm like, am I really enjoying this? Is this really that good? It was just this Portland show that really I was questioning it.
That really just what part of the Portland show really like threw you off? Was it Gargano Balor? I think we both agreed that match was too long.
Gargano Balor. It was Gargano Balor.
Because we both agreed that the first half of that match was pretty boring.
And Dakota Kai Tegan Nox was very good until the ending.
Until the finish, right? We both agreed that until the finish.
And that threw me off. And then Balor Gargano was like
the first half was boring.
Way too masturbatory for me.
The first half was boring, but the second half kicked it up pretty well. Once they got to Gargano's pace, I thought the second half of the match was actually good. The first half was they kicked it to Balor.
It was dramatic bullshit.
I think they tried too hard and didn't do enough to really make that match interesting.
But I've seen it enough in some of the NXT style where in some of like it's hard to give an example like the main events especially like they're dense. They are dense matches.
But I think they have to be because of the stories they tell.
But not every one of them have to be dense.
Well, the other matches on the card? Yeah. No, the other matches on the card.
You know, I remember when takeovers used to have squash matches.
True.
And they've lost that.
But I think part of that's because of their success.
Part of that is because of their success, but it just sucks because I look at the early takeovers and what made them great.
Is that you had at least one classic on all the early ones, and it was a solid.
You look at Unstoppable. I'm just giving you I just picked a random takeover.
Okay.
11:30, 6:51, 7:15, 8:50, 15:33, 13 minutes. Yeah.
Basically what you're saying here.
Easier to digest.
It's not too much, and you think everyone gets everything in that's necessary.
Yes.
So clearly you want the KISS method when it comes to what WWE is doing, and they're being incredibly complex, and I think you think they're trying too hard.
With these takeovers, sometimes I appreciate the effort put into these long matches. Don't get me wrong. It's an inner struggle for me.
Clearly it is.
It is an inner struggle. Because and the Voices of Wrestling podcast have talked about this. It's hard to call these matches good when you hate them on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
I would never go back and watch Adam Cole, Tommaso Ciampa again. I would never.
I didn't like the ending, but I probably would. I've gone back to watch it.
I would never
probably go back and watch it later on.
Looking at, I would watch the Brooklyn. I would watch Takeover New York again.
Absolutely. Because the story, I love the story, and
some of the Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa matches I would never watch again.
I'd watch Chicago, and I've gone back to watch Chicago again. I'd watch Chicago again. I'd watch New Orleans again.
Brooklyn maybe.
I did watch it again recently, but I'm not gonna make it a habit to do that. I'd absolutely watch Chicago.
I think the pinnacle of NXT style was the unsanctioned match between Gargano and Ciampa. And the fact that they're going to do another Gargano Ciampa series is really going to grind.
That's unnecessary to me. It's
unnecessary, and they're going to do another dense, long feud with these dense matches that... And you know Cole and Velveteen are going to have a dense, long match. And Finn and Walter are going to have a dense, long match. So those are 3 matches right there. So that card is going to be structured like the Portland card.
Probably. We're going to have 6 matches. The ladder match, I think,
3 of those matches are dense, long matches. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to feel tired by the end, and I'm not going to want to watch wrestling the next day.
The ladder match, I think, has to be dense because you got ladders.
No, the ladder match is not dense to me.
Okay.
Ladder match is just people beating each other up with ladders. I'm talking about the 3 singles matches.
The 3 1-on-1s of Cole Velveteen, of Balor Walter, and of... Well, I think Cole Velveteen has to be somewhat because of Adam Cole is probably going to break the record for the NXT Championship longest reign, and the struggle of Velveteen trying to get that title on WrestleMania weekend, I think has to be. Plus, I think it's going to be. I honestly think Undisputed Era is going to go to Raw. I hope they go to Raw after this takeover Tampa, and
I think the best the proper way matches to send Cole out. I think the tag matches have been what people are going to look at.
They've had the best pace. I will give them that. They've had the best pace. They definitely had the best pace of all their takeover matches. The tag matches over the last few takeovers have had the best pacing. That's totally true.
I just don't like the depth. I don't think you understand, but you understand.
I know. I get what you're saying, that you wish the stories were a little quicker to the point. But I kind of disagree in the sense of I like the stories being told and like the way that they built it. Like I like it having these different twists and turns and then give me a good finish.
If I was invested in these stories, would I care? No. But I'm not as invested in these characters because I fucking hate Tommaso Ciampa's guts.
He's better.
Ciampa.
He's better as a heel. He's far better as a heel.
Ciampa is a whiny ass babyface.
He's far better as a heel. He looks better. He feels better. He flows better as the greatest sports entertainer of all time. He flows better as a heel. As a psychotic heel, as a psychotic evil heel who would do everything it took to keep the title. He just feels better as a heel to me, and I hope eventually he does turn heel again. But he just feels better as a heel. He does. Anyway, to kind of speed run through the rest of NXT this week, Chelsea Green, as D. Coots mentioned before this tangent, beat Shotzi Blackheart. Let's see here. Fish and O'Reilly beat Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, and they're going to get another shot at tag title next week. Yeah, they have good matches against each other. They really do. Swerve and Austin Theory. Austin Theory beats Isaiah Swerve Scott. The more Austin Theory, the better. I really like him. He's got a serious future in NXT. Let's have more Austin Theory stuff. Let's see here. And then Velveteen versus Roddy to close the show in the cage. Roddy beat Velveteen via escape, but obviously part of that was Undisputed Era. Helping the cause, but ultimately, the signature part of it being Adam Cole got locked in the cage with Velveteen alone, which allowed Adam Cole to get beat up by Velveteen and clearly setting up Cole and Dream for the NXT Championship in Tampa. I'm all for Velveteen winning the title. I need to see that. But that's effectively NXT. Roddy gets his revenge, but Velveteen Dream gets the last laugh. Now let's kick it to AEW, and
I'll tell you the difference between an NXT match and the match, because there's a different type of density between the match, the Cole and Ciampa match, and the match that Hangman Page and Omega and the Bucks had. I'll tell you.
All right, so let's kick it with AEW highlights from Revolution in Chi-Town. This was a really good pay-per-view. There's no other way to say it. This was a really good pay-per-view from start to finish.
Meltzer said he saw the best tag he ever saw.
This is a match of the year candidate. I don't know if it's best tag ever.
We have to get the Observer Awards because
they did drop. They did drop today.
Hopefully somebody posted them on a site that.
They did drop today. This is true. They did drop. But AEW was absolute.
Or they might be late.
Well, it was kind of fire. So Dark Order beats SCU in the pre-show match. So they kind of sum it up a little bit. Evil Uno clotheslines Scott from behind, allowing Stu Grayson to score the pinfall. This is a pretty decent tag match here. Kind of the buy-in match before everything kind of got popping. It started quickly with a brawl before the bell rang. SCU asked Christopher Daniels to stay in the back, playing into the rumors of him being Dark Order's leader. The Dark Order managed to eke out SCU for the dub. Dark Order, including the Creepers, attacked SCU before Colt Cabana's music hit, and the veteran Chicago indie star ran in to make the save before numbers overwhelmed Cabana. Chris Daniels then attacked to make the save there, coming out in a robe, pretending to be the Exalted One. Post-match antics were better than the match itself, more than likely. Colt Cabana, yes, has signed with AEW, as pretty much indicated there. But that was the pre-show. Now we can get to the main stuff, and we start with Jake Hager's in-ring debut against Dustin Rhodes. A pretty productive match.
Amazing how this was the Wrestling Observer Awards will be out on Thursday.
Okay.
We'll comment on them.
We'll deal with that next week. We'll cover that next week. But Hager beating Dustin via submission. The two quickly took the brawl to the crowd and around ringside, which I think makes sense, clearly following up on how the brawl happened last Wednesday. Rhodes looked for revenge after Hager broke his arm, focused his own offense on Hager's left arm and shoulder. Obviously, the disrespect of Hager kissed his wife before the match, and then Rhodes kissed Hager's wife during the match. Oh, the disrespect. Before Reigns did the same, gaining the upper hand. Hager had a convincing near fall with a gut-wrench powerbomb. Rhodes clapped back minutes later with a code red, and then after Hager couldn't get the win with an ankle lock, he delivered a low blow behind the ref's back, followed it up with a locking a standing arm triangle choke to put Rhodes to sleep and win via submission. Not a bad opener.
I gave this 2 3/4.
Yeah, not a bad opener. Probably I like the.
But I liked how this sort of escalates. This card sort of escalated in pace.
It's a good build. The match that was a good way to start the show. So I think 2 3/4 is a fair rating. Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara was.
No, then they hyped for Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
First reaction. What was your first reaction to the name Blood and Guts being?
There's gonna be a death match in this pay-per-view, isn't there?
It's War Games, essentially.
All right, cool. Inner Circle brings their 4 or 5 best versus Mox and whatever 4 to 5. Obviously, Darby Allin's gonna be involved, but whatever crew he can come up with. All right, let's go with it. That's fine.
Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara. There was a little insanity before.
This match was full speed ahead. Pretty much, it was on site between these two. When Allin and Guevara first locked eyes, it was on site. It was full mass chaos from start to finish. These are 2 young studs who are gonna kill it for a decade. It would seem in AEW. I think that this is just the beginning of these 2 battling each other. Allin rode the skateboard to the ring before Guevara taking Guevara out at ringside with a tope ahead of the opening bell to get things cracking early. Allin then came in inches of injury with another tope attempt draped over the ringside. Yeah, he missed, and boy did he miss. As his feet tripped the ropes, he drove Allin to a table with the 630. That was a beautiful 630 from the top to the outside. All this before the match officially started. Before Allin stepped back during the match, the bout didn't get officially started after the 630 when Allin managed to climb back into the ring. The match didn't slow any further from there because that's just the way that Allin and Guevara have it, with great impact moves from both dudes. But ultimately, Allin got the win with the coffin drop in a really good showcase from the 2 dudes. I would probably go 4 stars for this because this was. I love how fast-paced these 2 guys go, and their chemistry was instantaneous for me. I go solid 4.
I go solid 3 3/4.
Okay. Then we get the match of the night and a match of the year candidate with.
Here's the difference.
Hangman and
Here's the difference to what I complained about in NXT.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
You go over the match first, and then...
Okay. There's a lot that happened here, and so bear with me. Let's see. Things got heated early with the Elite members during the match, with Paige spitting at Matt Jackson's face, and then getting super aggressive with Omega. The Bucks seemed to have enough of Paige's nonsense early on, which eventually turned on the brothers getting progressively more aggressive towards Omega. As things got heated, the Bucks ended up hitting Paige with an Indie Taker on the entrance ramp, and with Paige out of the picture after the huge move there, the Bucks laid in Omega with super kicks before hitting the golden trigger and then more super kicks. Clearly, death by super kicks was on the menu for Kenny. Omega somehow kicked out of this, and Matt began working on Omega's injured shoulder because of the incredible Iron Man match with Pac.
Nuts.
This match got wild pretty much from that point on. Nick stepped in and told his brother to calm down and attacking their friend. Paige made his way back into the match, driving Nick through a table and hit the buckshot trigger combo for the near fall. Somehow, I can't believe they kicked out. I can't believe Matt kicked out of that the buckshot trigger. Paige then hit a one-winged angel. Well, because Omega couldn't do it, so Paige did it instead, and there was a kick out there. That's actually Nick made the save. And then finally a buckshot lariat to finish the deal on both Bucks to pin and retain the titles. After this, and obviously the story of this was really, really good, with Matt Jackson not being able at times to kind of finish the job and kind of deliver more offense, and how Hangman's part in this, and how the Bucks, how Hangman and Kenny played really good in terms of the tag team chemistry, and they really came together nicely.
And then they teased.
And they teased the turn. They teased so many turns of heel turns, either from Hangman and Kenny throughout the entire match, and then the Bucks even throughout the entire match. But nobody turned on anybody, and nobody turned heel or anything.
And
Hangman
that's why
super
this
over.
is so smart, because on NXT they would have pulled the trigger on a turn right away. They would have pulled the trigger on a turn right away. They would have did something to hot shot an angle. They would have pulled on your heartstrings right away. And
they would have Hangman buckshot Kenny, and then the Bucks win the titles. I absolutely believe that would have happened.
Yeah.
I absolutely believe. I thought that's the route they were going to go.
But
Hangman turned on Kenny during the match.
This would have been a lot slower of a match, and it would have dragged on a lot, like 5 minutes longer than it needed to be. And the difference between this and NXT, and this is where I'm glad this match came up in the context of when we're talking about NXT, is this match was all action.
It really was.
Jump. This match
really
was all action, all high spots, great action.
There was great drama involved here.
Great drama.
The story was great.
Callbacks. Very reminiscent of, if you watch back from the Bucks and Golden Lovers match.
Yeah. Okay.
Great callbacks from that.
I remember that.
They did some callbacks from that. They did callbacks to Marty. They did callbacks to some stuff earlier in AEW. They get callbacks to their careers. They are so smart as pro wrestlers that they think their fans are smart. And WWE doesn't treat their fans as they think they're smart. So this is why I like this type of wrestling. Because
basically, so what you're saying here is like what the Bucks, Kenny, and Hangman, what they kind of did is it kind of made you, you guys got to, you think you know what's coming. Let's see you guys, if you guys did your homework and you can remember this spot here and this spot here and this spot here. And
sort of like what Okada and Tanahashi do, and what the best Okada and Omega did, and
it kind of makes you do your homework.
It do your homework, and it makes you think as a fan, and it rewards the fan. And WWE never rewards the fan for making you think. It often
they'll reward for the payoff, but they don't reward you on the way there.
It doesn't.
I will give you that. They will
reward you for the small nuggets you get.
Right.
And
they'll get you in the end. They will reward you in the end. But on the way
But
there,
it's so rare that they reward you in the end because it took them kicking and screaming to reward you in the end.
I.e. Kofi and Daniel Bryan.
And it took them many years to reward you in the end. So they don't really want to reward you in the end. These guys want to reward you, and they want to reward you as you get there. And they are so smart in how they do it. And this match never dragged.
It didn't. This match really didn't. It's 100% true.
This was 30 minutes and 20 seconds. This felt like 15.
And part of that I think is because these four guys don't have styles that allow you to drag a match. I think these four guys are built to go 100 miles an hour with their match styles and their match templates. Yes, Kenny and Hangman especially have shown like they build up, and then once they're like comfortable in a groove, then let's go. But they I think took this at the Bucks pace of it's go. Once the bell rings, it's go time. And just the fact that they know each other, I think is also what played into this.
Yes.
Is they know each other so well, and like they travel the roads in Japan, and then obviously AEW now, like they know each other from the back of their hands. So I think this was built to go that far because these four know each other and know that all the other three guys in the matches are capable of going that far. So I guess that's just what made this special.
Yes. 5 stars. 5 stars.
Yeah, absolutely 5 stars easy. That's what I'm saying. This is a match of the year candidate. So basically, we've got Kenny maybe have had 2 match of the year candidates in the span of 4 days, because he had the match with Pac too, yeah. which was incredible. So Kenny might have had 2 in a 4-day span and won them both. So that's impressive, Kenny Omega. Kind of a cool down match here.
Nyla Rose and Chris Statlander put that. Someone had to be in this role.
Yeah.
Already.
I don't envy these two women.
This was the least built match, so you could say that. This was an okay match.
Yeah, nothing special. It's not the D that CBS is giving it, but it's nothing special. Nyla, I think, should have a long reign with this title just because of her power, and simply because they really, I don't think, that's one thing AEW hasn't done is build up many women on the roster, except for Nyla and Britt Baker. They've done really well with, especially with her on the microphone. I think they just need to build up more women before they could really step to Nyla and try to take the title from her. Until then, I think Nyla should have a long run just crushing through the entire division. And then this is Nyla's first step in doing so. I think that was a smart move to make. Probably 2 stars, but nothing special. I don't think it's their fault. They just had to follow a classic.
And then MJF and Cody.
Which is I mentioned last week, the match I was most looking forward to. I enjoyed it. You know what happened? They kind of did a little bit of what we were both suggesting. Was an actual match where I thought Cody would get the payoff and finally finish the deal. And there were parts where Cody made MJF suffer, and I thought that was perfectly fine. But it did kind of what you would suggest.
Yeah.
Was MJF kind of doing the shady stuff, getting Warlord involved, kind of ducking and hiding, kind of trying to avoid Cody at all costs.
Which is the best of both worlds. It really was.
That's what I'm saying.
It was a bit overbooked to my liking.
Probably was.
But I still gave it 3 3/4. Still a very good match.
And MJF getting the cheap win with the ring. So I think they did. I think what both of us would have suggested was an actual match where Cody looks like he's getting his measure of revenge, especially with the back-to-back crossroads, and look like he was going to finish the deal. But they did what you would have suggested because MJF gets the cheap win. So it keeps the story going. It keeps the flow going until the Blood and Guts pay-per-view they're going to have, I think, and that's where the ultimate payoff needs to happen.
No, and they're not going to keep it going for right now.
Yeah, they are probably better off going their separate ways and then bringing it back. But I like the way this played out. MJF getting a signature win, that's perfectly fine. Clearly setting up MJF for the future. because he's got an incredibly bright future in his company because he's an excellent heel. And I honestly want to see more Wardlow stuff. And eventually, those two fight for the tag titles, I think, would be perfectly fine by me. Wardlow and MJF. Because Wardlow's got a serious future in AEW. Next up,
Orange Cassidy.
This was fun.
Yeah, this was fun.
There's no other way to say this. This was fun. They started with Orange Cassidy's kind of hilarious style and nature with the shin kicks that everyone passes over, which is great. And then Orange Cassidy actually tried against Pac, and I thought that was it was funny. It was different, and it was nice to see Orange Cassidy do his thing, and not just do funny stuff. This was fun. This was just a generally entertaining match. I will say. I'll probably go 3 3/4 for this and 4 for Cody MJF, but this was a pretty entertaining match from start to finish. Pac gets it done.
I went 3.5.
Pac gets it done, and Pac wins with the submission. With the Rings of Saturn submission there, but ultimately this was a fun match. There's no other way to say it.
The champion, Chris Jericho.
First of all, Jericho taking us to church. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the spectacle that Jericho brought to this with the choir and taking us to church with his song and Judas in my mind. Everybody was singing to that. Love that. Second, the match itself was good. The match itself was good. I thought the match was entertaining.
I thought it was very good. Yeah, classic World Title match.
It felt more entertaining than the Ambrose Jericho matches that were in WWE. Honestly, to me, I just felt more entertained by it. I just felt better about the story here, and I just thought the flow of it. And I think the Ortiz and Santana involvement I thought was solid. I thought it played a pretty good part in this deal, and I think it was timed pretty well. In that regard as well, I like the hustle job that Moxley did, where he could have seen all along, and kind of outsmarted Jericho in the end. But I think that was nice. And then the paradigm shifts back to back for Mox to win the title, and there's a hilarious promo afterward. But I think it was done. I think this was done pretty well. So probably 4 1/4 for me. This is a pretty properly done match. Jericho had a really good run as champion, putting AEW on.
He didn't really go wrong with it.
He had a really good run. He had a really good run there. So I think it was solid, but Mox was coming in way too hot. So Mox came in way too hot and did his thing. So Mox is the new world champion. Let's see what he can do with the title. I'm perfectly okay with it. So I think it was, all in all, a very good show. Revolution was really, really good from start to finish. Had the match of the year. It had a couple other really good matches and stories to go with it.
Yeah. Dynamite.
So how do they follow that up?
Jon Moxley speaks. I missed most of this because I was getting ready. I was getting some stuff ready. They did a opening promo for Jericho. The gist was Jon Moxley was like thanking everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Said he loves the belt, stuff like that. Jericho comes out. They made the Inner Circle into a hit squad.
Mm-hmm.
He called Mox a Pharisee, a cheater, and called the fans liars as well. And he said he has a basically an I don't know. Sorry.
It seems like it set up the show properly as an enraged Jericho is out for blood and revenge, and anyone that crosses Jericho catches a beating from the Inner Circle.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
That's what it sounds like.
Trying to say, and I was like, it's 11:17 at night, guys.
He couldn't think of the words to say. But that's what it sounds like to me, is that Jericho was out for revenge and clearly was pissed about losing the title. And it's basically anyone who crosses Jericho catches a beating from 3, 4, or even 5 or 6 dudes.
Cabana and SCU versus the Dark Order of Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds. This was a good little opener.
Mm-hmm.
Colt Cabana and SCU defeat the Dark Order in 10:25. Good fun opener. Dark Order fails failing as they continue to tease the Exalted One, and post-match Evil Uno said this wasn't supposed to be this way. When the Exalted One arrives, heads will roll. Britt Baker arrives to join commentary.
Yeah, he really didn't have Britt Baker the last week or so. But Britt Baker continuing to do what she does, because Britt Baker on the mic. She
brought Tony Starbucks.
Britt Baker is pretty savage. Dr. Baker is pretty savage, and continues to do as such. Big Swole won the match against Bates, and Big Swole is one that I like going forward. I think Big Swole is going to have a very good future in AEW. She's got a whole lot of talent. I think she's kind of I don't think she's as good as Bianca Belair, but I think she's their version of her. And I think she's very productive in that role.
Yeah. We got highlights of Cody defeating MJF.
No, MJF won that match.
We got highlights of MJF defeating Cody. My bad. I have weird memories. Then we get Cody arriving. Cody says he's lost to MJF. You get to work on a pay-per-view. When you win, you get a bonus. It's professional. It became personal. And then it's professional again. He calls out MJF. He said he wants him to say he beat him fair and square. And then Jake Roberts arrives. And he said it's taken him 20 years to get him clean and sober and right. And he's earned this. And he said he will come to AEW, and once their roots take control and the Phoenix will rise from the ashes, he won't be a nice boy and play nice. And he has a guy coming for Cody. Essentially.
So Jake the Snake's got a hitman coming for Cody, is what you're saying.
Yep.
All right, different layer. I like it. Interesting.
So Jake the Snake as a manager, that is definitely...
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, because he
can talk.
As we know, A, Jake the Snake can talk, and B, he's an excellent psychologist. He's absolutely outstanding when it comes to in-ring psychology. I think he'll be able to coach somebody up real nice.
I think it's going to be Brody Lee, a.k.a. Harper.
That would be nice. That would be very interesting.
Or Lance Archer.
Lance Archer, I think Archer kind of sticks out to me, but I think either scenario would be good.
Pac versus Chuck Taylor. Good match. Moonsault misses. Brutalizer finishes it.
So Pac wins the match, but the story gets deeper after that, because Orange Cassidy was... So really, this got deep. After this, there was a chuck into Falcon Arrow, obviously the near fall. You mentioned at the end of the match. After the match, Trent and Cassidy came into the ring, and Cassidy gets in the face of Pac, because clearly they might run it back. Suddenly, the Lucha Bros come running to the ring, and they jump Cassidy and Trent, with Pac helping the cause. And then this turns into a crew. Pac grabs a mic and says they are the Death Triangle. Ain't nobody safe. And in short, Pac and the Lucha Bros are a crew. The talent involved with these three is ridiculous. The 6-man tags these three are going to have going forward are going to be amazing. Like, I'm looking forward to combinations of those two and Jurassic Express. Obviously, Best Friends and Orange Cassidy is gonna be a dope 6-man. I'm looking forward to so many 6-man combos with Death Triangle involved.
So, QT Marshall versus Jake Hager, quick squash.
Mm-hmm. Hager puts in work.
Post-match, they all brawl.
Mm-hmm.
The Inner Circle attack.
Part of the hit, man. Part of the hit that they put out pretty much on the whole roster. Ortiz, Hager, and Santana, they beat on Jackson, Cody, and Dustin. But Jackson would meet Matt.
Hangman would come for the save. Buckshot Lariat on Hager. And then
he flips off Matt and then dips. he flipped off Matt and then rolled and exit stage right. But Jericho's night wasn't done, as Jericho and Sammy Guevara in the main event ended up battling Moxley and Darby Allin, their opponents from Revolution. And it was Jericho and Guevara, but before the match began, Moxley obviously was the main target of the hit.
Oh, we have to talk about the MJF promo.
Yeah.
Next week it's Ortiz versus Cody. Death Triangle in action. MJF, Butcher and the Blade versus Jurassic Express, and plus the rules for Blood and Guts. That's what they're calling the game.
Interesting. That's going to be pretty good.
MJF is pinning the shoulder to the mats and banging rats. He beat Cody and went from protege to master. His legacy will read the greatest champion in the history of wrestling. And you heard me, Jonathan Moxley. I will win gold and will beat anyone to do so. He will remain undefeated. And because he's better than you and has a shirt that says I pinned Cody, it's quite distracting, almost like the neck tattoo.
Yeah, you knew MJF was going to gloat. You knew it was coming. It was just a matter of how hard he was going to do it. And it's clear that he's setting his sights on Moxley. Is MJF ready for the title? Probably not. Not the world title, at least, anyway. But is MJF ready to contend for it? Absolutely, he is. He's the best heel talker. I think he would be a really... I mean, and that's saying something with Jericho involved here. But he's 1-1A with Chris. And I think that he's going to be really good coming after Moxley. Then we get to the main event. Speaking of Mox, he and Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho. Before the match even began, as Moxley does his traditional crowd entrance, Moxley got jumped by Santana and Ortiz, and the Inner Circle crew. Hager was involved. Hager was involved as well, and they beat up Mox in the atrium. Before he could even get out there to the ring area. And basically leaving it a 2-on-1 between Allin, with Darby Allin versus Jericho and Guevara. Allin tried. He tried his hardest. He put up a fight. He really did. As hard as Mox tried to, hard as Mox would try to get involved, he simply couldn't. And Jericho... So the good news is Darby Allin is fearless, and he went for a tope to the floor. The bad news is Jericho's seen counters like this and probably seen them in his sleep and caught him with a devastating Judas effect to basically put the kibosh on anything Darby Allin had planned for the evening, unless it was sleep and getting a pillow and a blanket, which Darby Allin promptly went to sleep. So... Needless to say, as Randy Orton puts out a video of him RKOing Jake the Snake Roberts, which is actually hilarious on his Twitter. But yes, Darby got put to sleep by a Judas effect. Jericho, needless to say, got the pin, and this led to the Hit Squad, known as the Inner Circle, continuing to do more damage. They celebrate after the match, but Moxley tried to storm the ring with a chair, and he tossed it at Hager, and it knocks Santana and Ortiz to the outside before hitting Sammy Guevara with a paradigm shift. Moxley is staring them down, where Hager hits him from behind. Santana, Ortiz, and Jericho then jump Moxley. It's a 4-on-1 situation and drag him up the ramp. Hager then chokes him out, puts him to sleep, and then they drag him over to the side of the stage and basically hit a triple power bomb, shield bomb, if you will, off the stage to a table. And Inner Circle gave him the finger to finish the deal, to finish the show. That's effectively AEW. A very good follow-up to a really good pay-per-view of Revolution.
Sports ball.
Flyers are rolling right now.
We beat the Caps. We beat the Caps.
Second time in the last 2.5 weeks or 3.5 weeks that the Flyers have schooled the Caps in DC. Unlike the 7-2 performance last time, the Capitals actually scored first in this game, and the Flyers looked like they had a goal by Travis Konecny towards the end of the first period on a power play, but didn't get it. Konecny, the hockey gods would see this and promptly give the goal to Konecny moments later to make it a one-all game. The latter 40 minutes of this game were all Flyers, effectively. They scored 3 in the second period and absolutely dominated the tenor of play in said period, swarming and sending shots at Braden Holtby constantly. It was a firing squad at Braden Holtby. 3 of them went in the back of the net, including the play of the game being a beautiful feed by Derek Grant, who literally backheeled the puck to Kevin Hayes, who had a wide-open net for a tap-in. He backheeled the puck with his skate, I should say. But the Flyers were tremendous once again in the second period. The Capitals did get one at the end of it, but it was 3-2.
McShay still has you guys sticking to it.
Which I fully expect us to do that. We'll get to that in a little bit. The third period, Flyers continued to do their thing, sending shots at Braden Holtby. Ivan Provorov made it 4-2. They got another goal. I believe it was Lawton who scored the fifth one, who made it 5-2. And that was the final. But the Flyers getting it done once again, 7th straight win. But it was not all good. James Reeves-Dyke broke his hand in the first period of the game. He'll be out for the foreseeable future, which basically means Joe Farabee is going to come back up. So not everything was great. We did unfortunately have to deal with that. And the Flyers are now 1 point behind the Washington Capitals for the lead in the division, which effectively would be the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. This is the night after Boston beat Tampa Bay in Tampa in what was a really good game as the Bruins beat the Lightning. They're going to run it back later on this weekend in Boston. But the Flyers win 5-2, and they're now a point out in an Eastern Conference that's certainly becoming 4 alphas in the East of Boston, Tampa from the Atlantic, Washington and the Flyers from the Metro. Maybe Pittsburgh is probably the 5th best team in the East. They have 82 points. They have the 5th most points in the East. But really, your alphas in the Eastern Conference are the Bruins, the Lightning, and then the Capitals and Flyers are your 4 alphas in there. Flyers won 3 out of 4 against the Capitals.
Milwaukee already clinched their playoff spot?
Who's what?
Milwaukee already clinched their playoff spot.
This is the NBA he's talking about. Yes, the Bucks have clinched the playoff spot for they clinched a spot basically like 3 weeks ago. They've been that dominant. The Bucks are 53-9. They'd have to run the table to go 70 to equal the Warriors record, but I don't think they're worried about that. Milwaukee's got a showdown with the Lakers coming up this weekend too. I believe on Friday night at Staples. Bucks Lakers, best in the East versus best in the West, and then the Lakers get the Clippers, who have the second best record in the West, on Sunday. So the Lakers weekend is going to be very busy. That's a Clippers home game, by the way, the Laker Clipper game. But yeah, Milwaukee's going to face the Lakers on Friday, and what's going to be a really nice game, a really big game, a good game right there. I don't think Milwaukee's going to get caught for the 1 seed, but it's at least going to be entertaining to see Braun versus Giannis Antetokounmpo battle each other. That should be a fun game. We saw yesterday AJ Bouye got traded from the Jaguars to the Broncos for a 4th-round pick. So as the mass exodus of Saxonville continues, and Yannick Ngakoue got franchised, but he wants no parts. I don't blame him, quite honestly. They're trying to trade Nick Foles. People in Philly are bugging, and they want Nick Foles back. No. Eagles apparently want Byron. Yeah, you're an Eagles fan. Let's tell the people. You don't want Nick Foles. You immediately said no.
I'm not on the bandwagon because we have our franchise quarterback.
Okay. Do you get rid of Alshon Jeffrey and eat that $26 million dead cap hit that comes with it?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Do we trade Alshon Jeffrey for Nick Foles? What the fuck?
No. Do you trade Alshon Jeffrey in general? No, I'm not saying do you trade him for Foles. No, that would be dumb. But do you, because that's double cap hits. So it's like, how do you deal with Alshon Jeffrey is the question, because that's a massive cap hit if he's not on your team, not an Eagle, this coming season. That's a major situation there.
I don't know.
So that's a lot happening there. There's rumors everywhere about the Dolphins, about they want Tua, do they want Herbert, do they want just Jordan Love, are they going after Patriots free agents? I read that earlier tonight, of like going after Devin McCourty and a couple other dudes from New England, which I think are absolutely in play here, because New England Patriots free agents seem to go to where ex-Patriots coordinators are coaching. That means the Lions and the Giants. I'm looking at y'all. We're going to be going after Patriots too. I fully expect it.
Matthew Stafford exodus.
Detroit's not going to get rid of him. Detroit, that's $30+ million of dead cap money. There's no point in getting rid of him. There's no way he's not a Lion next year. The year after, possibly, but there's no way he's not a Lion next year. I just don't. That would be dumb. That would be fiscally irresponsible for the Lions. I mean, granted, they're the Lions, but that'd be physically irresponsible to do that. So I just don't see it. Brady to the Lions? Apparently people are thinking that's a real thing. That Brady could go to the Lions, and maybe even Jimmy G coming to New England in some sort of deal, which that would be wild. After that massive contract the Niners signed him to? Yeah, I read that like earlier tonight as well. That Brady to the Lions is a potential real thing.
49ers.
The 49ers, let's say. The Brady to the 49ers is a potential real thing. And because the Titans and Patriots are apparently 1-1A in this situation, they're the two teams that have the most likely opportunity to sign Brady, but the Niners are going to try.
Because of the Vrabel connection?
Because of the Vrabel connection, which some people are arguing, isn't this tampering? And it probably is. And the Patriots. And then there's the Niners because Brady's from the Bay Area. So a lot of people are thinking, oh, maybe the Niners are a thought. And I think that's also a possibility. I ultimately think the best fit for him would be the LA Chargers, but I think it's very possible that Brady could end up a Lion or a Titan. So I could totally see that. Free agency starts on the 18th. That's going to be a fun 3 days of tampering, the legal tampering period, and then the free agency starting. That's going to be a fun 3 or 4 days. Kyle Juszczyk got his option exercised, so he'll be staying in San Francisco. Really good fullback. Russell Okung got traded to the Panthers for – what did he get traded for? He got traded for – he got traded for a Panthers offensive lineman. I know that. I'm trying to remember his name. But Russell Okung got traded from Seattle to Carolina. That happened earlier today as well. So we're already getting some stuff happening here. Here's the deal. So Russell Okung got traded for Trey Turner in a straight-up one-for-one swap. But the NFL's kicking up. We're kicking in the high gear. And there's going to be a lot of crazy things happening over the next 3 weeks.
McShay's top 10, real quick. You want to hear McShay's top 10?
Yeah, let's go it.
Bengals, Burrow.
Obvious.
Redskins, Young.
Obvious again.
Lions, Okuda.
Makes a lot of sense. If I were Detroit, the guy I would pick is Isaiah Simmons.
Giants, Isaiah Simmons.
Giants did the smart thing by doing what Detroit didn't do. And I get why Detroit's doing it, because the thought of Darius Slayton not being a Lion after this year makes a lot of sense.
Tua, Miami.
I think he will go to the Dolphins, no matter whether it's at 5 or at 3. I don't know, but I think he ends up a Dolphin regardless.
Jordan Love to the Chargers if they lose out.
This is the first surprise. I expected Herbert to be the pick here, but this is the first surprise.
And Ty McShay asserts that Utah State's Jordan Love will be picked ahead of Justin Herbert.
He's been on that train for a lot.
Carolina Panthers, Derek Brown.
He makes a lot of sense. They don't have a run stuffer. I think pairing him with Brian Burns makes a whole lot of sense. I think this would be a pretty solid move.
Cardinals, Mekhi Becton.
He's a big he's got, I think, a lot of boomer bust potential. Of the 4 elite tackles in this draft, I think he's the biggest boomer bust. I love his size, and he can move. And I think that would be a really good
tackles
fit.
Here.
Yeah, he'd be a really good fit to protect Kyler Murray. I get why this is done.
Jaguars, Wirfs.
Tristan Wirfs, okay. Tristan Wirfs he's got the potential to move to guard and be excellent at guard from everything I've been reading. I think he's a very good player, and I think this would really help out. Apparently, Gardner Minshew is the guy they're going to go with. So he would help out Gardner Minshew immensely.
10 Browns, Wills.
Jedrick Wills from Alabama. Now, he would help out Baker Mayfield tremendously. Cleveland is still a mess, but the offensive line is part of the reason why Baker regressed last season. So I think this would make a whole lot of sense for Cleveland to make this pick.
First round because
yeah, I can probably fill in like gaps and stuff for this. So.
Jets, Judy.
Jerry Judy, okay. I think is Robbie Anderson gonna outprice himself for the Jets? That's an interesting question to me. Robbie Anderson, I think, is a number 2 receiver. I don't think he's a 1, but I think he's an excellent 2. Jerry Judy, to me, has a number 1 receiver written all over him. I think he's the best receiver in this draft, and he runs routes outstandingly well. The Jets do need to get a left tackle.
I wouldn't be surprised to see if the Jets go offensive line.
I think they need to go offensive tackle, too. I think they need to go the offensive line to try to help Sam Darnold and get rid of his own yips. I don't think Darnold's that good of a QB, but to save him, you need to get an offensive line in front of him.
Las Vegas, CD Lamb.
Interesting. Raiders have a lot of guys who would be really good as a depth pieces, but they don't have true stars on their team. I think CeeDee Lamb could be a star receiver if the right quarterback is throwing him the football. I'm not sure if Derek Carr is the guy. If Judy fell, Judy would have been the pick. I can understand Oakland taking a receiver. They need help at linebacker too, but I think they can do that with their second pick. I think CeeDee Lamb makes a whole lot of sense.
Justin Herbert.
Herbert falling to the Colts, I think, is a really good look. And as long as Indy keeps Anthony Costanzo, I think that would be...
If they don't fuck up, if their management don't fuck up Justin Herbert?
They don't have the same management. Ryan Grigson was complete trash, but Chris Ballard has come in and saved the Colts. Chris Ballard's a really good GM. He won't make the same mistakes Ryan Grigson did.
Buccaneers, DeAndre Swift.
Interesting. This was the highest I've heard DeAndre Swift mocked. I've heard in almost every mock I've seen, he's a Dolphin. This is an interesting pick to me. Tampa Bay, I think their biggest problem is offensive line, and there's one elite offensive lineman left in Andrew Thomas. And I'm a little surprised he's not the pick here. I think Tampa Bay needs to make sure their offensive line is intact and in place, and to help that miserable defense last year. Tampa Bay with an average defense. Tampa Bay with an average defense, and Jameis Winston throwing 10 less picks is a playoff team.
15. Denver Broncos. Henry Ruggs III.
This has been a match I've seen for a while now of Henry Ruggs going to Denver to help out Drew Lock and Cortland Sutton and Dejon Hamilton and what's becoming a pretty good, sneaky good offense at Denver's building. I think the defense needs to get a little bit younger around Von Miller, but I think what Denver has is good. They need to continue to build that pass rush to help Von Miller out and make sure he can get Pat Mahomes, because that's the end game. Can you, A, score enough, and B, stop Kansas City?
Atlanta. Clavion Chasen.
Now, this has been because they're releasing Vic Beasley, this makes a lot of sense. I think AJ Epinesa would have been
considered Kinlaw and Cole Kmet here.
Mm-hmm. And to me, defensive line is the move. Because you're releasing Vic Beasley. I think Tarek McKinley could use some help. I would have thought AJ Epinesa would have been the move here, but I get why you're doing this. I think this makes a whole lot of sense to get some help and try to make sure you can get home to Breeze and whoever Carolina's QB is going to be, whether it's Cam Newton or anyone else, or get home to deal with Jameis. And you got to have a pass rush in the NFC South. You got to have a pass rush in the NFC South. I think Atlanta's doing a good job here.
Cowboys, Xavier McKinney.
They need a safety. They definitely do need a safety badly. And I think Xavier McKinley, the safety I love the most in this draft is Antoine Winfield Jr., but he's a second-round pick. I think Xavier McKinley's the first-round pick, and I think he could really ball. Him and Grant Delpit are going to fight for whoever is the first safety off the board. And if either went to Dallas, it wouldn't shock me.
Your boy, C.J. Henderson.
Corner from Florida, I think is a good corner. I think him with Xavier Howard would make a whole lot of sense. To me, I think Miami's bigger. Miami needs to get an offensive lineman, and with Andrew Thomas still on the board, that would have been the pick for me.
Kenlaw, Las Vegas.
helps out the defensive line immensely. Oakland needs help on defense on all three levels of the game. I would expect Patrick Queen to me Patrick Queen would be a guy I would highly consider in this spot here if I were Oakland. But because considering his range, they need somebody that can cover, especially Travis Kelce. But I understand why you're going Kinlaw. It's really good value. Kinlaw's a top 10 pick. He falls to 19 in this mock. Love it.
Blacklock to Jacksonville.
Now that's a pretty good pick to rebuild that defense. They're going to lose a lot in the next couple years. Jacksonville will, off that dominant defense that happened a couple years ago. I don't think Ndakwe is going to be a Jaguar for too much longer. I think he's going to command a decent value on the trade market, and they've already lost Boye, and they've already obviously traded Ramsey. This is obviously the Rams pick. Trevon Diggs, I'm a little surprised, isn't the pick though for Jacksonville. They're going to need a corner to replace Ramsey and that Boye.
Justin Jefferson for the Eagles.
I like it. The Eagles need receivers. They need healthy bodies first off, but they need receivers as well. And
we found a gem in Greg Ward. We found a gem.
Now, as long as Justin Jefferson, I think he's a good receiver. As long as
Greg Ward is healthy.
Greg Ward is fine. I think he and Jefferson could be decent together. And honestly, I think the receiver I would have taken here is T. Higgins. But I understand Jefferson.
He can go T. Higgins.
He goes to the Bills. I think that's a smart move for Buffalo. I think Higgins is the better receiver. I really do think Higgins is 6'4" frame. I think he would really help out Carson and would go get jump balls. And I think he would go make things happen. But instead, he helps out Josh Allen go get jump balls. Wentz is obviously the better passer of the two. So I think he'll do more help for Allen than he would for Wentz. Buffalo with a smart move.
AJ Espinosa to the New England Patriots.
This is a pretty solid move. I think New England's going to lose some free agents this offseason. I think Calvin Oy is going to get paid. And New England's pass rushing was pretty terrible even with Calvin Oy. This would be a smart decision for New England to get some pass rushing help. They need it ASAP.
Brandon Ayuk to Saints.
This is a smart decision. To me, it was either this or go get a corner. This is a smart decision for New Orleans simply because you need people to help Michael Thomas. The Saints already have a good offensive line. They have the QB of the future to me in Taysom Hill. I think Hill could be a good QB. They obviously have Mike Thomas now with Kamara holding it down the skill positions. They need some help for Mike Thomas on the outside. I think this would be a pretty good move.
Trayvon Diggs
joins his brother. He joins his brother, and I think that's a pretty good move there. Minnesota could use some corner help. The Vikings, I think, have one more legit shot before they have to. Brother. Yes, he is. Yep, he's Stephon Diggs' brother. So Minnesota drafts his brother, and it'd be kind of weird if they drafted Diggs and then traded Stephon Diggs. That would be kind of weird. I don't think they're going to trade Stephon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs, I think, will help out the corner situation, and I think this is Minnesota's last real shot. And obviously be good chemistry with his bro. I think this is Minnesota's last real shot before they have to really, really consider the quarterback situation. This is Kirk Cousins' final year of his deal, and we'll see what Minnesota is after this year.
Josh Jones, Miami.
All right. You got some offensive line help. Now he'll probably have to play, considering it's Tua, he should probably play the left tackle spot. If I'm the Dolphins, I'm preparing with offensive linemen, at least two in free agency. If one of the two were Jack Conklin, I'd be very happy. Or I think Conklin would be he'd be the right tackle with the thought of Tua being the pick. I think that would be a very smart decision to do that. So ideally, if my situation, the way I had this playing out, works, where Miami gets Conklin and then you can draft a rookie to play left tackle, I think that perfectly works fine. Keep in mind Tua's left-handed. The right tackle is the blind spot. So I think that would make a whole lot of sense.
27, a Penn Stater. Yetur Gross-Matos.
Now, this is a good pick for me. Seattle's pass rush was not good this past season. Now, you put him, and I think Seattle's going to try to keep Jadeveon Clowney. If I were them, I would. You put those two together as a pass rush, I like it. I think it's a good mix. It's a good combination. YGM's got a lot of raw talent. The key word is talent. Why'd you have him get to the QB? I think he's going to be good with Seattle. I think he and Jadeveon Clowney would make a good duo.
28, Patrick Queen.
to help out a really good defense. Baltimore isn't even in their final form yet, and they went 14-2 last year. Baltimore can get even better than what they were, and will absolutely be a Super Bowl contender for the next 3 or 4 years, as long as Lamar Jackson is vertical and upright and able to do what he does. This is a very good move for the Ravens.
29, Tennessee, Andrew Thomas.
Andrew Thomas, this is a steal for Tennessee. The fact that he slips this far. And
you wanted him at 20.
I wanted him at 18. And I think that's a steal that Andrew Thomas slips this far. I think people are jumping the gun too much, and I think are nitpicking his whatever flaws he may have. I think Andrew Thomas is a really good tackle. And of the 4 elite tackles I mentioned earlier, I'm the most sure on him compared to the others. I think he's the best of the 4. I really do. And I think this is a steal if Tennessee gets him at 29, where they're gonna lose somebody, whether it's Tannehill, Henry, or Conklin. Especially, they're going to lose one of those 3 at least. I think it's the most likely they lose Conklin. I think they'll keep Henry, and we'll see what happens with Tannehill, whether they get him or Brady. But I think they're going to lose Conklin, and I think this will be a very good replacement.
30, Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is screaming for help. He gets help in form of a Penn Stater. Wide receiver.
KJ Hamler is an excellent speed slot position receiver. I think you put him in the slot.
I was calling with this one.
You knew, and I can explain this quite well. KJ Hamler is a really good slot receiver in the NFL. You put him in the middle. You got Devontae Adams, and St. Brown on the other side here, or the Scantling as well. I think KJ Hamler really brings the dynamic to the Packers offense that they desperately need. Somebody over the middle with speed and some fearlessness. KJ can take a hit.
Not using Rashawn Gary and Darnell Savage.
No, I think Hamler would be a really good fit for the Packers offense. That's a good move.
49ers. Oh my God, you're getting better. Grant Delpit.
He shows up the safety role. Now obviously the big knock on him is tackling. Can he improve it? I think he will. I like what the Niners have on defense as it is already. And this Niners team is just getting started. They're all young and they're all hungry. They're going to have to pay everyone, especially. Their first test is Eric Armstead. But the Niners have a real good shot to be around for quite a bit. The Niners are only just begun. And now the champions.
Now the champions. Let me see. Oh, sorry. I clicked out of it for a second to see where Cole Kmet was going. Makabuki from LSU. No, Makabuki from Texas A&M.
Now the champions, they're really. Kenzie's gonna have to improve on. Yeah, Kenzie's gonna have to improve on defense. I think that would be a wise decision to go defense here. Kind of.
Why did I say LSU?
It kind of helps out Frank Clark and the defensive line, Chris Jones as well. He helps the situation out there. I think that's a wise decision. I would like to see Kansas City kind of focus a little bit more in terms of the cornerback spot or the linebacker spot here. I'm surprised Murray got out of this draft. I got the linebacker from Oklahoma, Kenneth Murray. I'm a little shocked he got out of this first round. I think he would have been the pick for me if I were the Chiefs. But I think Kansas City is going to focus on defense, and they got to put some youth in this lineup somewhere because Mahomes is going to get paid an astronomical amount of money. So they're going to have to have some cheap rookies.
Someone had us getting Justin Jefferson and KJ Hamler.
You know what? I don't mind that. And here's why. The Eagles need receivers. Do you trust Nelson Aguilar going forward? Not really.
No.
Do you trust Alshon Jeffrey at all in that locker room? Absolutely not. Deshaun Jackson can't stay healthy. The Eagles are basically
USA Today.
Eagles are a mass unit. I wouldn't get both of them because you also have a pressing need at corner. And where does the Eagles want Byron Jones? But you're gonna have to pay Byron Jones probably a good $17 million. Right. Is he worth that to you? That's an interesting thought to me.
Bryce Hall, Virginia, picked Sebby Bud.
Okay, he's a cornerback. All right, they addressed the cornerback spot.
We were traded with the Colts. The Colts would receive 85 and 146. And that KJ Hamler would be a trade too.
Mm-hmm.
Thaddeus Moss, tight end from round 3, LSU.
Thaddeus Moss is a good tight end. I just don't think he should be an Eagle. Eagles already have 2 really good tight ends.
Why do we need another tight end?
Why do you need another tight end?
Moss, safety, Clemson.
Now the Eagles are focusing on a need that they have to have. Malcolm Jenkins is a free agent this year. He's going to still command top dollar.
Tanner Muse.
Not only that, but Rodney McLeod's a free agent too.
Tanner Muse. LB Clemson.
Considering Nigel Bradham's no longer an Eagle, you need that linebacker core to be fixed up immediately. I think Eagles will be waiting too long.
Alabama.
Another need to me the Eagles have to address is the offensive line because of Jason Peters. 5. And I think they kind of tipped their hand in considering re-upping Jason Peters. And I think they tipped their hand in Andre Dillard. Is Dillard truly ready for the big time? It seems to me that their answer may be no. And I think that's a really, really bad statement if their answer is truly no.
Let me find a Inside the Eagles mock draft, 7-round mock draft post combine. Dan Prazak. Round 1. Here we go. Fan-sided. This is fan-sided. Henry Ruggs, the 3rd.
I think that's the best case scenario. I don't think Henry Ruggs is going to get to the Eagles pick. But I think that's best case scenario for the Eagles is getting Henry Ruggs. You need a home run hitter as a receiver? Ruggs is certainly that. I just don't think he gets
53, there. It would be Cameron Dantzler from Mississippi State, cornerback.
Need help in the cornerback spot. I think this will make a whole lot of sense because your current, as I've said many a times on social media, the Eagles secondary not named Malcolm Jenkins is trash. I will stick by that statement until they improve.
Curtis Weaver, defensive end. Why do we need another defensive end?
Because I think some of your defensive ends are going to get paid soon. I get that. Vinny Curry, for example, who had a good year last year, I think he could be getting paid soon. You have other needs, though. So I agree with the premise of why would you draft one now. I agree with that premise, actually. The Eagles should not be drafting one.
Jennings, Alabama.
I'm thinking here, the Eagles need to focus more on defense after getting Henry Ruggs. I hope that's the case. I think
that is the case.
I think that would be the move.
Hawkins, California, safety.
Helps probably replace Rodney McLeod. If I'm the Eagles, that's the route I go here. I would try to keep Malcolm Jenkins unless he kind of prices you out. If he asks for more than he had $8 million last year. I don't want to go more north of. Don't want to go more north of 12. The problem is this is a really good safety market, so I think he's going to probably he might price himself out. That's going to be a problem.
McKivitz, offensive lineman.
I think this is necessary. The Eagles, because Jason Peters is not getting any younger. Vaitai is feast or famine. Andre Dillard, I don't think they think he's ready for that life. I think that's pretty alarming if he's not. The Eagles, I think, do need to make sure their offensive line is intact and in place, and it just need bodies. The Eagles just need healthy bodies to really help out Carson and company. And
here's NBC Sports, Philadelphia.
That'll make life easier for everybody.
Henry Ruggs.
That makes sense. That's fine.
Trade to 18 for the Draft Network.
So they trade Miami. So they flip with Miami.
CBS Sports has Henry Ruggs. Mm-hmm. So they have different. NBC Sports has different draft outlets.
So they trade with Miami to move up to 18. Okay.
This is the Draft Networks.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Fulton.
They take Christian Fulton from LSU. He's a cornerback. I think that's a smart move.
C.J. Henderson, SB Nation.
Now, obviously, they give up 21, and they probably give up a second or third, or another
We don't trade in this one.
Okay, in the draft network one, they certainly do.
Walter Football, T. Higgins. We don't trade.
Personally, that's the route I would go if I'm the Eagle. If I expect Henry Ruggs to be gone, so I would imagine that, to me, T. Higgins I think would be the best case scenario unless they can get a corner, which I think Christian Fulton will probably be the best corner left.
I like the Draft Network, honestly. They're the best.
Draft Network's great. Draft Network is really good.
So, let's see who Marino has. The Eagles thing. The Eagles, they actually have us trading up to 10 to take Isaiah Simmons.
That would be a great deal. The problem is you might have to give up your first round pick next year.
So the terms of the deal. I'm just gonna say, Cleveland would retire 21, 53, 117, and a 2021 third.
Ooh. So you're 1, 2, and you're 3, and a 3 the following year.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a haul. I love Isaiah Simmons, but that is a haul.
I love Isaiah Simmons. That's a haul.
Woo. That's rough that's a good haul for Cleveland. If I'm the Browns, I'd probably do it.
I would do it. I would do it.
If I'm the Browns, I'd do it. If I'm the Eagles, I'd probably do it because Isaiah Simmons, I think, could be an exceptional player.
Isaiah Simmons is there? Yes.
Yeah. I honestly don't think he gets out of New York. I think he's a Lion or a Giant before this in the draft. He either goes 3 to Detroit or 4 to the Giants.
I think if Judy's there, I'd do this trade.
If Judy gets to 10.
If Judy gets to 10, I'd do this trade.
I'd leap in front of the Jets in that situation. And
I'd leap in front of the Jets and do this trade.
I think so too.
I would be willing to give up this whole for Jerry Judy.
Yeah, I think that's
because Alshon Jeffery's not going to be here.
I think he's the best receiver in the draft. That makes sense.
Looking at this haul, it's not that bad of a haul for a number 1 receiver.
Agreed. That part I agree with.
To get into the top 10, that's not bad of a haul. And we're not giving up a first rounder next year?
Mm-hmm.
It's getting to 12 a.m., so Beast Mike, plugs.
Twitter.com/Beast Mike. I will be in D.C. tomorrow, doing more stuff with my new job. And I will be doing it. I did the Cavs Jazz game on Monday, which was a nice touch. Kind of running the boards for that, making sure the updates were up for people who have the app on their cars and on their radios. So that was a fun time. I'll be doing another game. I just don't know what.
The Sirius XM app is fantastic.
I'll be doing another game. I will probably update on which game I'm doing on Twitter. So if you have the Sirius app, I will be updating so you'll find out what game I will be doing to keep track of.
I will tune in because I have the Sirius XM app.
Right. Okay.
I've had to reset my phone, so I gotta get it back locked in. But DJD Cooks on Twitter, so yep, that's me. See you later next time. Listeners, me and Beast Mike will probably be talking for another 20 minutes because knowing us. Right, Beast Mike?
Yeah, that's kind of how that works.